Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today is our first strategy session for our 10-day family wellness challenge. And I am so happy to be here to talk today a little bit about some of the strategies that can help you when you're trying to create family wellness. So we talked a little bit in the first video yesterday, announcing the challenge, explaining what it's all about, and also telling you guys what you can do to join this free challenge for your family. So it's really easy. Just go to my website, drchristinahibbert.com. The link is in the bio of both my Facebook and Instagram pages. So you can go and find that, and then you can just download your free guide, and the guide will help you get everything set up, and then you can also download the free calendar that you can use for your family. So everybody go do that, get your guide, get your calendar, and then these sessions every day for the next 13 days, because we're not actually starting the challenge officially until Monday. These strategy sessions are geared toward teaching you some of the skills and principles you can use to help you keep the goals that you want to set and set the goals that you want to set, especially as we get started here at the beginning. So today we are going to focus on physical and mental wellness. And I have my trusty board and my daughter's Crayola markers because that's the best I could do. And I just want to teach you a few things, that I think can be really helpful and that you can then teach your family. So you could teach your parents, or you could teach your children, or you could teach your siblings, or whatever. First, I just wanted to kind of emphasize what we were talking about yesterday, how there are 5 areas of wellness. And if you think about the 5 areas of wellness, they really collide together and they collaborate and they build on each other. So it's not like we have all these separate areas here that we're trying to be well in, but rather it's more like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this is kind of what our wellness is all about. So if we are working in just one area, let's say our physical, then that's great. But look at all of the benefits we're missing out on. Let's say if we're working on our physical and our mental, because that's what we're going to talk about today, then we have all this that we can gain too, right? And the same goes for all these other realms. So today I'm just going to share a few of the strategies for setting up your goals, helping your children set up your goals, helping your family set up your goals for your physical and mental wellness. So, physical wellness, first of all, we are going to look at 3 different areas of wellness when it comes to physical. And really, we're going to focus on one really cool thing that I don't know if you've thought of it this way or not, but it's really, really true. If you think of physical and mental wellness, and especially as they combine together, you know that really it has to do with your energy, doesn't it? Has to do with your energy. How are you feeling? How is your energy level? And then not just energy, because, okay, let's say we have tons of energy. And some people do. Some people have more energy than others, just naturally. We have tons of energy, but think about that in the extreme. When it's not balanced, that's like too much, right? We're just like going crazy and then crash. We burn out because we do too much. So that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that kind of crazy frenetic energy, but we're talking about having energy to do what you need to do and balancing that with having calm. So I call it the calm energy balance. So it's kind of both. So first of all, first question for everybody who sees this, do you have the energy that you want to have? Do you feel like you are as energized as you want to be each day? And if not, then what do you feel might be preventing that? That's something that I definitely had to work on this year. It's been my biggest goal and something I've really improved upon. So I know there are so many ways to change our energy level, and that's what I love about this challenge, is that we're going to learn so many of those different ways. But first, it's important to tune in to that. So your energy level. And then secondly, how's your calm level? Can you kind of breathe, and do you take some time to be calm? Are you able to be calm, or is it just all energy? Or on the flip side, is the calm just not calm, but like depression or like super low energy or just like unmotivation, right? So when we're talking about physical and mental health, and when we're talking about all of the 5 realms of wellness, which we'll go into a little bit each day, we're talking about energy, calm, balance. So our energy and our calm. And when we have both of these in a good balance, that's when we really, really start to feel alive. You know, I heard a long time ago this best piece of advice, and it said that when you are in a bad mood, well, listen to this. This is a great tip. When you're in a bad mood, it's because you don't have the energy you need to tackle whatever's on your plate or whatever's in front of you. So think about that. Is that not true? When you are in a bad mood or when you're having a rough day or when you're stressed, isn't it because you don't have the energy you need to do something that you have to do? So that's the whole point of our physical and mental health and wellness, is to start working on all of those realms, but today we're only talking about the first two, so that you can increase and find that better balance of energy and calm. Now, how do we do that? First of all, in the physical realm, we have 3 ways to do this. And again, sorry, I just have my Crayola markers. Oh well, we do what we can as parents, don't we? 3 ways that we're going to work on this. And you know what I'm going to say. I'm sure you do, especially in the physical realm. So physical wellness. Number 1, sleep, right? Sleep and rest. Okay, so we first have to have sleep and rest. And I am sorry that this is totally backwards for all of you that are watching. I just realized that. So sorry about that, but you get the drift. Sleep and rest. So how is your sleep? And maybe this needs to be one of the goals for your family. So when we're talking about sleep with our energy, calm, balance, it involves a couple questions. So you can ask yourself or you can ask your children. First of all, are we sleeping enough? Are we getting that 7 to 9 hours a night? More for children and teenagers. And usually, you know, most people fall around 8 hours, but it doesn't have to be a set time, right? It's kind of your body. Are you getting enough sleep for yourself? That also means question number 2, are you getting to bed at the right time so that you can get the sleep? Now, when it comes to family sleep, I know that a huge part of the deal is getting everybody to bed on time so that everybody can wake up and have a peaceful morning the next day. That's the calm part, right? So maybe that needs to be one of the goals in your challenge. Even if you're not doing the challenge, this stuff can all really help. And we're going to go more into how do you actually get better sleep next week. Once we start the challenge, we're going to have a day just on sleep, and we're going to have like days on all of these things in more detail. But first of all, just ask those questions. Are you sleeping enough? Are you getting to bed on time? Number 3, are you eating or consuming caffeine or food late in the day? And definitely food 2 hours before bedtime. Sweets and sugar especially are going to keep you awake. Also, there are some behavioral things with sleep. Do you have a setup in your home where you can just go and sleep, and it's kind of your area for relaxing and calming? Talk about that calm place. I actually have a rule that I don't have any pictures of my kids in my bedroom. And I know a lot of people think that's crazy, but I have all these pictures throughout the whole house and even right outside the door as you walk in. But I wanted my bedroom to just be, I have pictures of my husband and me and other pictures and artwork and things that make me feel relaxed and calm, because I wanted that to be my calm place where I sleep and I rest and I read and I relax. So do you have that? And do your children have that? And then number 4, I think, do you have a bedtime routine? Your children, when they're little, they have a bedtime routine, or they should, or most of the time we set up a routine, right? We have bath time and story time, but we need that as adults too. So do you have a bedtime routine? And what does that entail? Really ideally, you should start an hour before you want to fall asleep, getting ready to go to sleep. And I know that's tough, especially if you have kids. I find that so often, and that's one reason I'm so motivated to get my kids to bed early, or to say goodnight as early as possible, so then I know it's going to take me at least an hour to wind down and actually fall asleep. So those are some questions you can ask your family about sleep. That's just number 1. And again, we'll talk more about how to change those things, because the other part of it is your thoughts about sleep. A lot of times we think things about sleep like I can't fall asleep. Or if I don't get this many hours of sleep, I'm not going to be able to wake up the next day, right? So what are you thinking about sleep that might be getting in the way too? So some of the ideas in the challenge are, you might start a sleep journal to get all of your thoughts out before bed, or just write things down. You might change your behavioral patterns and set up that bedtime routine. You might need to watch what you're doing later in the day so that you're not creating energy or exercising right before bed and then suddenly you're out of luck, right? You can't fall asleep. You might need to work on bedtimes. You might need to, there's all kinds of ideas. You can totally customize this for your family. And again, for those who are joining us later, now and later, go to drchristinahibbert.com if you haven't already to get the guide and the calendar for the 10-day family challenge. Now, number 2 with physical is, in addition to sleep, exercise. I know nobody wants to hear this, but let me tell you a couple points about exercise because it's not really what you think. Exercise is not what you think, okay? Because we all have this idea in our head of what exercise is supposed to be, but what I'm really talking about is movement. So how much are you moving throughout the day? That is exercise. That's what we're talking about here, especially when we're talking about our physical and mental wellness, because moving our body is the best thing we can do, not just to look good or feel good, but really for our mental health. And it's totally carries over between the mental and the physical. So take advantage of that. Think for your family, like, are we going to count steps? Or maybe, like I've started in my family, just teaching about movement. Like, let's just try to move more throughout the day. Let's take turns taking the dog for a walk. Let's go jump on the trampoline. Hey, why don't you practice your dance here instead of just waiting for dance class? Because that's getting them to move, right? So whatever we can do to be creatively moving, that's exercise. And we'll talk more about movement and especially its impact. I have to tell you though, my book, 8 Keys to Mental Health Through Exercise, goes through all of this. So I know all this research. And I've also seen it in my own life. Like movement, when we move our body, we move our mind, we move our emotions, we move our spirit. We can actually improve our relationships. We can improve our creativity, our focus, our learning abilities. We can improve our insight, our spiritual connection. Like every realm is improved by some better activity and movement, okay? Number 3 for physical is, and this won't be any surprise either, nutrition. But again, I don't want any of this to feel like a guilt trip. I just want it to be a little bit of a challenge for the family. So for instance, maybe there's one food group in particular that you need to cut out. Like our family was just terribly addicted to ice cream. And we've kind of worked on it over the summer, just, not doing ice cream. So maybe it's something as simple as that. Maybe it's that you need to work on your overall nutrition, like what you're putting into your body. And are you putting in those greens and vibrant colored, whole, healthy foods? And it's not so much like I need to go on a diet. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like, what are you putting in there to give you that energy? And what are you putting in there to give you that calm? Again, that calm energy balance. These 3 things are what it's made of. If you want energy, you have to be sleeping and resting. That's part of it too. You have to be moving your body. That creates energy. And you have to be putting foods in your body like fuel for your body in order to have the kind of energy you need and the calm that you need to, right? So it goes hand in hand. Okay, so those are our physical realms, and we're going to talk a lot more. Next week, I'm going to do a whole session teaching about the gut-brain connection. I don't know if a lot of people do not know about this, but did you know that in your gut, it's considered your second brain? And as we know, exercise, movement affects our brain like a medicine. It actually improves our mental health and our well-being and our thinking and all of that. Sleep definitely improves our brain. We know that if you've ever been sleep deprived. If you're a parent, you know for sure that helps. And our nutrition is the same thing because what we put into our body, same thing. We have to keep our gut healthy and our brain healthy, and certain foods are great for our brain and certain foods are great for our gut. And when we have that connection going, then we have less of those physical symptoms of stress that we have. If you think about that, that's why it's so connected. You get those physical, like digestive symptoms and mental health symptoms when we're having struggles, right? So when we're eating right, when we're sleeping, when we're moving our body, we're going to feel better overall, physically and mentally. Now, those are the 3 realms in which you can set up your physical challenge goals. Now let's talk a few minutes about the mental challenge goals. Whoopsie, did not mean to do that. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. I accidentally closed it down. I meant to do something else. So our mental challenge, this also has 3 areas. And I think that when we think of mental wellness, we mostly go to mental health. And yes, that is important. So I'm gonna write this one over here, make sure you can see that, even though, again, I'm sorry it's backwards for you. I need to work on that next time. Number 1 is our mental health. Okay, and as we just talked about, this physical stuff, sleep, exercise, nutrition, these are the 3 main core components of our physical wellness. This totally impacts, they all 3 impact our mental health directly. And I actually did an internship my last year in neuropsychology. So we studied the brain. I worked with people that had brain injuries and strokes and tried to help rehabilitate their brain and their thinking. And these are just so crucial. And we'll talk more about that and how do you actually make those changes and make them last next week. But mental health. So yes, number 1, we have to have our mental health well. So maybe that means that you are struggling with something like anxiety or worry or depression or fear, and you really need to go and talk it out or get some help, or you really haven't slowed down enough to figure out what you need to do for your mental health. So yes, it includes things like overcoming depression, overcoming anxiety, which of course is a whole other topic that we'll talk about next week and the next once our challenge starts. But for now, just remember, mental wellness involves our mental health, but that's not all. Mental health is just the first one. Second is our intellectual development and learning, right? So when we're talking about our mental wellness, it's not just, do we have depression or not? Do we have anxiety or not? Although that's important and it really has to be tackled in order, I mean, if you think about it, if you're super depressed, it's gonna be really hard to focus on any kind of intellectual anything, right? So if we look at our intellectual well-being though, are you learning every day? Are you being challenged every day? Do you do activities where you can improve and grow? Are you pushing yourself? Maybe you need something like a coach to help you with that. Maybe you need something like a challenge, a 10-day challenge to help you with that and some ideas. So for instance, with our intellectual growth for kids, obviously they're going to school and learning that way, but maybe we can help them add in a fun book where they can learn something, or we can read together. Or for us, maybe we go, or well, not for us, but for us and our kids, I would say, what about going on YouTube and learning something new? My youngest daughter just started doing percussion in her band. She was doing flute and she didn't like it, so she changed to percussion. So I was just saying, like, let's go this weekend and we'll make it a goal. We'll put it on your wellness chart to start next week, but we'll make it a goal to go on YouTube and start learning how to play the xylophone, because she doesn't know how to play that, right? That's learning. That's intellectual learning. So anything that helps you to learn and to improve your intellect, that could even be doing crossword puzzles or Sudoku. My husband loves Sudoku. I love to read. So we do that together, separately together. That's kind of our relationship. Anyway, so that's the next one is. When we have mental health, like we're not depressed and we are feeling mentally well, and again, having that energy and that calm, which is so crucial to mental health, we can then also improve our intellectual capacities and our development. And there's so many ways to do that. Another great way, teach something. Learn something, teach something, especially if you're a parent. Set it up so that you're teaching your kids this stuff. You could watch these sessions in the morning as we do our challenge, and then in the evenings, you could get your kids together at dinner and say, hey, we're going to talk about mindfulness today, and here's what I'm going to teach you. You'd learn something. That could be your goal. I mean, these videos could be your goal, right, for that. And then number 3 is just what I said, mindfulness. And there's a lot of overlap, again, with this mental and the spiritual, which we'll talk about on Sunday, because mindfulness is a spiritual practice, but it's also a mental practice, and it's also good for your physical health and good for your social health. It's good for everything. And it really does bring in this calm element to the energy that we're looking for. So that energy calm balance, if we are practicing mindfulness, hi Becky, thank you. If we are practicing mindfulness every day, it's very simple, and this is such a great tool to share with our children. So just something simple. Let me just teach you something really simple right now with mindfulness. And we're going to have a whole day next week on mindfulness, and I'm going to teach you some and actually record and have available some, we're also going to do meditation with the spiritual day, but mindfulness, I'm going to teach you some mindfulness practices and have recordings of them so you can listen to them as a family, or you could share them with your kids if you want. So let's just do something together. So if you're watching this, wherever you are, whenever you watch this, because I know most people watch it later, just kind of get comfortable and sit there for a minute and just take a breath. Now you noticed when I just took a breath, my whole chest went up because I'm talking a lot. So I'm in kind of that energy phase and I need some of that calm. But what we want to do, and I'll teach you some deep breathing too on Sunday in our, when we talk about spirituality and kind of stillness and calmness. But what we're trying to do is breathe down into our belly. So if we kind of instead think about expanding your belly out as your chest kind of goes down almost, then it calms us down. So get into that calming breath. And you don't even have, you can close your eyes if you want, but actually, I'd rather have you keep your eyes open for a moment and look around the room and just notice what is around you. So I notice these lights, they're kind of bright and that's there. I've got a window out here. It's beautiful outside. What do you notice around you? What do you see? I also see some mess and I'm going to just ignore that and look at the other things like the artwork over there and, you know, things that, okay, so what do you see? That's number one. Then, as you breathe again, what do you smell? Do you smell anything? Maybe there's a scent from breakfast. Maybe there's something else going on in your home or in your room where you are. This morning, I have to tell you something that I smelled, and this was mindful. In Flagstaff, and people from Flagstaff will totally know what I'm talking about, there is a Purina dog food factory, and it's not even that close to my house, but on certain days, the wind blows and you can smell dog food. It's not the best smell. It's actually kind of a terrible smell. But this morning, as I got out of the car and took a moment from taking the kids, and this is what mindful is, it's just paying attention to what's happening and taking that moment. As I did, and I went to go inhale and smell the pine trees, which I usually love smelling, and it smelled like dog food. But, you know, I was mindful of that. I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's a dog food kind of day. There we go. So what do you smell? Now, what do you taste? Anything? Maybe you're eating while you're doing this. Maybe you're drinking. Maybe you have something left over in your mouth. What do you taste? What do you feel? What do you feel as in on your skin? Maybe you're in the sunlight and you feel warm. Maybe you feel cold. Maybe you feel, I don't know, goosebumps because you're thinking about something, or you're feeling nervous. And so, you know, maybe you're feeling tense in your hands and in your body, right? So sight, smell, taste, feel, and, well, touch, that would be feel, and hear, right? What do you hear? Right now, I hear actually silence, which is a beautiful sound in my home. But if I really listen, I can hear the sound of these lights. I can hear the squirrel that's right outside running. Okay, so that is mindfulness. And what if you just can teach your children to do this? To just stop, and that only took like 2 minutes. It doesn't even have to take that long. If you just stop, hello, Karen. If you just stop, hello, Lori. If you just stop and take a couple minutes and just notice everything with your 5 senses and bring yourself back to here. And then I would add, then you can close your eyes if you want. Again, taking that breath. That was my energy breath. I need my calm breath down from my belly. And what do you really feel inside? Like, what do you feel about today? What do you feel about your family? What do you feel about your own wellness and health and physical and mental as we're talking about today? As we were talking today, was there something that might have stood out for you that you particularly know you need to work on? And one tiny goal, and I even say 5% better is awesome. It doesn't have to be 50% better, 100% better right away, even 5% better. So the tiniest goal can make the biggest difference. And so as you tune into yourself, this is also mindfulness, tuning into what's going on in your body. And we're going to talk next week on one of our days about emotions. We're going to talk about how to feel freely, experience emotions with love, as I say, feel powerful emotions and deal with them so that when they come, you don't have to be afraid of them. And now, once you've tuned into your world and everything around you and tuned into what you're feeling, now you can go, okay, what's my intention for today? What am I intending to do today? What is my plan? What is my goal? And then from that place, wow, what a powerful way to start the day and get going. And actually to start this challenge too, because it hasn't officially started, although maybe you have. So that's what we've got for today. We've got our physical, sleep, exercise, nutrition, our 3 mental health, intellectual development and learning and growth, and mindfulness. And tomorrow we'll be talking about the next 2 elements in our challenge, our emotional and our social wellness, which includes our family relationships. So I'm going to have some great strategies for that, for family bonding and getting together. And this is all to help you get your family set up on the challenge. So again, go to drchristinahibbert.com and comment below if you have any questions or thoughts so far on things. I really want to address what you need to know. And go to my website, like I said, click on the icon on the front page. Also, the latest blog post can take you there either way. And join the challenge to get your free guide and calendar, get your family set up. My plan is to get my family, have a family meeting on Sunday, get us all set up with our goals. In the meantime, we've been talking about it. And guess what? What a compliment. My 15-year-old daughter actually watched my live stream yesterday. What? Because she's doing the challenge. So it's pretty cool, right? So get everybody set up, and I'll see you tomorrow mornings, and I'm excited to do this with you guys. So please let me know your thoughts and what you need, and I will see you tomorrow. Get out there, and again, don't have a good day. Make a good day, right? It's a challenge.